In this video, we are going to enhance our data model by connecting to the loans data table. The loans data table is different to the student contacts table because the contacts table is a table that is native to all Dataverse environments. And as a result, it has a significant number of data columns. It's also the table that we would consider to be at the center of our data model. So what we're going to do is to connect to the loans table. We'll remove any columns that we don't need. And we're also going to reach out to related tables to take some data from there. Once we're happy with our Power Query transformations, we'll load it into our data model. During the exercise, we'll be predominantly working in the get data and transform data steps before pushing the table into our data model. So let's move on to the exercise. I'm open in my library report, and I can see that if I look at the model view, I only have one table, and I can see from the table view the columns that it has and also the data that is included within it. Let's go and take some more data from Dataverse. I can take the same steps as before by going to get data. I could also select on Dataverse, or I can select on recent sources. I'm going to select on recent sources and then select Dataverse. It's showing me the environments I have available to me. I'm going to select on this and then I'll be able to search for the correct table. Search for loans. And I'm going to select on that. Note that in this case the name of the table is PU Loans, and that's because the solution uses a Power Up publisher with a prefix of PU. I'm now going to go on to transform data. I'm going to import the data. We're going to use an alternative way of selecting the columns. We're going to go to the choose columns and choose columns. I'm going to deselect all the columns and then select the PU Loans ID, select the created on, then select PU Loans name, book copy, date due, date loan start, date returned, is overdue name, the book copy name, and we're also going to bring in the PU book copies. Select OK. And we're now looking at a lot less columns than we saw before. I'm going to scroll to the right hand side. And we're going to look at a very special column, this PU book copies column. This column allows us to reach out into a related table. So we can select on the expand option here. We'll deselect everything to begin with. And I'm going to bring in the book name and also this column PU book. In a moment, we will deselect this use original column as prefix, and I'll show you what happens if you don't deselect it. If I select OK now, we have a number of columns and they're all prefixed with PU book copies. I'm going to change that. I can either select on the options for this particular step and delete it here, or I can delete the step entirely and then expand here, remove the use original column as prefix, deselect, select all columns, and then I can select the book name and the PU book. Then select OK. From here, we could find out more details about the author. We can hit the expand option again, deselect this, and then we can find out the author name. We could select PU author, but that won't quite get us there, and we'll see that in a moment. I need to select this PU author and then select OK. As you can see, with PU author, it gives us the GUID, the globally unique identifier. Whereas if we actually select the expand option here, then we can deselect this and we can find out the name of the author. Select this and then select OK. This exercise where we expand allows us to create a flattened table, and it also allows us to show how Dataverse has relationships, and we can delve into those relationships on many levels. I'm going to perform one more operation. I'm going to change the name of this table to be loans, and then I will close and apply. We can see that the loading operation is taking place, and we can start to see the data come through. I can now have a look at my data model. I can see that I now have two tables, and at this point they aren't related to each other. I can select on the table view and then on the loans table. I can see that there are 968 rows. And when I look at the loans table in my model driven app, I can see this is what I was expecting. I'm back in my library report, and there's one piece of data that isn't going to come through unless we make a change to Dataverse. If we go to our tables and then go to the loans, we can see that the is overdue field is completely blank. And we'd expect it to say yes or no, depending on whether or not it's overdue. This is because when you imported the loans table within the library solution into your Dataverse environment, a small update is required to ensure that the Dataverse Power BI endpoint is configured correctly, and this specifically affects both choice fields and yes/no fields. To fix this, we'll need to go back to our solution within Dataverse. I'm in make.powerapps.com, and I can go to my school library, and I need to select Publish All Customizations. And this ensures that the Dataverse Power BI endpoint that we're connected to is configured correctly. Back in Power BI, I can go to the Home tab and select Refresh to get the latest view of the data. The connections are created to the correct tables, and the data is now loaded into our dataset. And the label associated with the is overdue column is now completed. And the final exercise is to save the report. Select Save. In this lesson, we connected to our loans data table within our Dataverse environment, and we used Power Query in order to be able to reach out into other tables that related to our loans data table. I'll see you in the next video.